Thank you.
So first of all, I want to thank you guys for inviting me here today. I work next door in Watertown, but I think one of the great things about living and working in small communities like Watertown and Belmont is, with the exception of a couple hours each Thanksgiving, we get to, come together and be one community instead of just two separate communities next door. We work closely with the Belmont Police and Fire Department on a regular basis. We have occasions where we're in your community and you guys are in our community, and we get to come together as one group of people rather than separate groups. But I was asked to come and speak about bringing hope in challenging times, and for me personally, that was my reason for taking this job in the first place. I remember it took me several years of taking tests and interviewing for the job, and every time I was getting ready for an interview, all the police officers and firefighters I knew said, whatever you do, they're gonna ask you why you want this job. Do not say to help the community. They're gonna see through it, it's a cookie cutter answer. Everyone gives it, don't do it. And every time I went into the interview and they said, why do you want this job? And I said, I wanna help the community. But I meant it. I grew up a religious person. For me, I grew up in the Roman Catholic Church, but it's all the same principles, just a different structure to things. But I remember one of the biggest teachings that I always took was, what you did for the least of my brothers and sisters, you did for me. And that's what we get to do in our job every day. It may not be things that show up on the news every day, but for me, growing up, I saw firsthand, I had a lot of issues with classmates in school. I was lucky enough to have a really good school resource officer in my school through the Watertown Police that made it a point every day, at least once a day, if it was at lunch or at the end of the school day, to come grab me and pull me aside and say, hey, how are things going today? You doing okay? And it was something that nobody else ever knew he was doing that. But it gave me hope in some really dark times. And so I thought about it over several years and I said, that's something that I can do. I can go to work every day, and unfortunately and fortunately, the majority of our job is not dealing with people on the best day of their lives. People don't exactly call 911 and say, hey, I'm having a great day. Do you want to come be happy with me? They call 911 and they say, I need help. And whether it's a little thing to us that's a major thing to them in that moment, or an earth-shattering crisis that's affecting the whole community, we get to go and be a part of the solution. We may not be the whole solution, but we get to be part of making things better than we found them. And for me, that's both a joy and a challenge to the job. It's a challenge that we don't always get to deal with people in their happiest moments, but it's something that I get to take pride in, knowing that I left someone in a better spot than I found them, the same way that people have done for me. And that's why I appreciate getting to come here and do this, because anytime we get to interact with people on a positive note, when it's not someone calling us saying, hey, I need help, it gives us back a lot more than we're giving out, to be able to not have to come to people in a moment of crisis and be able to be human beings and enjoy our time together. So I appreciate you guys having me here today.
And Chief Andrew Tobia, thank you so much for speaking to us. Thank you.
So good morning again. Thank you for the invitation. As Pastor Art said, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Andrew Tobio. I'm the Assistant Chief with the Belmont Fire Department. It's an honor to be here today as part of First Responder Appreciation. We truly appreciate this invitation and continued support as a piece of your program each year. As someone who grew up in Belmont, it means a lot to stand before you all. Working in the community where I grew up, I have the privilege of serving those who've watched me grow up, and also meeting others for the first time. Being a firefighter is one of the greatest callings, and it comes with both challenges and joys, which is why I'm speaking to you today. I'm going to share 3 of each that stand out to me. One is the unpredictability, which is both a positive and a negative thing. 2 days are never the same. We never know what kind of call is coming next. It could be a medical emergency, a house fire, or somebody that simply needs reassurance. The community is contacting us, like the officer said, for their worst day, and that's all types of incidents. It can vary greatly, requiring an extensive skill set. The unpredictability keeps us on our toes and reminds us to always be ready each day. As the time passes, there are always new types of calls for service, requiring adaptability and challenging us as firefighters to be prepared for the ever-changing responses. The second is the emotional weight. We see people on their hardest days. It can be difficult not to carry that home sometimes. Different calls or a combination of calls can target members in unique ways. The response also deepens our empathy and strengthens the bonds we share as a team, because we're there for each other too. We are able to talk with other members experiencing that same difficulty, allowing for a unique bond between the membership. Third is balancing life and duty, a challenge for all of us. The schedule can be demanding. Missing holidays, family events, or sleep isn't easy. Being on call during off hours requires extensive planning and also understanding from friends and family. As a husband and father of 3 young children, this challenge can be quite complex to manage sometimes. We do the job because we believe in something larger, protecting the people and the places that we live. 3 joys. First is serving the community that raised me. Each day I go to work, I know I'm helping my neighbors, some of whom, like I said, I've known my entire life. There's no better feeling than giving back to the place that contributed to who I am today. The teamwork. Firefighting is never a solo job. It is built on trust, communication, and having one another's backs. That sense of brotherhood or sisterhood is something special that many never have the chance to experience. And finally, always learning and growing. This job consistently challenges me to learn. This includes new equipment, new techniques, and new or better and different ways to save lives. Each call is a lesson for us. It keeps me motivated and also humble, knowing there's always more to master. So yes, the fire service has its challenges, but joys far outweigh them. I'm proud to serve, proud to learn, and most of all, proud to do it here in Belmont. Thank you for your continued support and appreciation. It means the world to us.
Thank you so much. And Officer Paul Cowan, thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First, we'd like to thank Pastor Eric and all the congregants here for inviting us. I have had the pleasure of serving the community of Belmont now for 17 years as a police officer and 26 years in the United States military. I'm deeply honored and profoundly grateful for the invitation to stand here this morning. For many years, I've had the privilege of serving this community in various capacities. Like I said, first as a member of the United States Army and now as a police officer. While the uniforms are different, the underlying purpose remains the same: a deep, abiding commitment to service. To be a police officer is to be a guardian of peace and safety. It is a love for community that truly motivates me every day, a desire to ensure all citizens are able to enjoy the rights and freedoms that I had the honor of defending during my military service. I believe in caring for our community is not merely a job, it's a sacred responsibility. Myself and my fellow first responders have chosen this responsibility as a professional calling to serve. The most important people in there is the community. We are members of the community as much as anyone else is. It is that service that drives us. The true nature of policing is often missed, and the sensationalism of the evening news or the drama of television. True police work is found in the quiet moments of compassion. It's holding the hand of a senior citizen in need of both physical and emotional support. It's sitting with a single mother, reassuring her that resources exist to help her financially rise above a difficult situation. It's standing outside a house of worship so that every congregant feels safe to practice their faith in peace. And yes, it is also found in the community events where we get to build trust and fellowship. I didn't get to bring bingo today. I tried. He was busy. Of course, this calling is often filled with sadness and grief. We are frequently presented during a family's absolute worst moments. However, for every moment of sorrow, there's an abundance of hope and positive intervention. The life-saving medical aid, the joy of a newborn's arrival, and the smile of gratitude when a lost possession's return, or the shared relief when a tense situation is de-escalated. This work reminds me that we all have a responsibility to community. Some of us have just chosen it as an honorable profession, and I thank all those first responders for their commitment, and I thank you for the commitment that you have to us. In this challenging world, we are often reminded of the enduring instruction from Fred Rogers, look for the helpers. I would add that when you look, remember to also pray for the helpers and seek ways to be a helper yourself. May we all go forth in peace, dedicated to the service of others and the protection of our shared blessings. Thank you for your time.
And I want to thank you not just for your service to our communities, but for such thoughtful reflections this morning, from Fred Rogers to the whole spectrum that we had here, and sharing, going home to your families and trying to leave the burden, not on them and what you face there. So you touched my heart today. I'm sure you touched many hearts here. Again, thank you so much for what you do. And we give thanks in the context of our faith. Greater love has no one than the one that puts their life on the line for their neighbor. And you do that. You exemplify that for us. So thank you so much.